What's going on, y'all? It's your boy G, and I got a special treat for y'all today. Today, we're going to be doing an interview with one and only Kunanix, aka Calvin. Um, this is long time coming for sure. And I'm super excited to get into this thing today. But Calvin, how you doing today, Brody?
Doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Definitely, excited to be on here, man. Excited to talk to y'all. Excited to meet some new people.
Yes, sir. So the way I want to start this interview or podcast, whatever you want to call it, it's just kind of just figuring out who you are today. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe not so much a super deep introduction, but just like today, like who are you? You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I would definitely say I've worn many hats over the years. I started off with, I've always been writing, you know what I'm saying? But I was streaming on Twitch. I still do on occasion. Making YouTube videos, making YouTube content, working in tech, etc. But I would definitely say that, today in this moment, talking here with you guys today, I'm a writer. I write comics. I have my own publishing imprint called Icarus Metro Comics. And I'm writing fantasy, paranormal, sci-fi stories for people to love and enjoy. Not only within the comic landscape, but also within the manga landscape, within the short film landscape, and potentially one day within the anime landscape. So yeah, just creating because of the love, because of the enjoyment of creating, and also creating to give back.
What would you say like got you into comics? And you say you was already writing, but like what made you choose comics initially as the initial route as far as like your publishing journey?
It's funny because people ask me that a lot, and I always say that it stems from anime. I grew up reading manga. Like that was just my to go to thing to read. It didn't matter what, because I didn't really have accessible. We didn't really have a lot of comic shops growing up in my area, and the comics that I did get, those were framed up. Those were like the Spider-Man, Barack Obama, the Superman meeting some type of congressman, like the special edition ones. But like for manga, it was easily accessible, and grew up watching anime, and it just whenever I was writing short stories or stories within school and stuff, it was just like I would love that aspect of the standardized tests or just the open prompts, and I didn't know that I could myself write comics. So when I went to my first Comic-Con, I found out that there was people, making their own things. I didn't see anybody like me making my own things. Of course, now there's a lot of people like me making their own things. But I said to myself, I have stories to tell. I have a lot of stories to tell. And honestly, that was about maybe 7 years ago. And I still haven't even scratched the surface on the stories to tell, from the stories that I had, back then, but little by little, they're coming out. We have Icarus Metro 1 and 2 out right now. We have Oni Hunter out, and it's on Kickstarter currently. New stories coming out next year. We shot a short film last year. That's going to be coming out at the end of the year. So it's definitely little by little, definitely trying to continuously make good media, good multimedia for people to love and enjoy.
I definitely can relate to not having a lot of like comic book shops around growing up. And it's crazy because like I said in the beginning of this video, this is a long time coming as far as like when I first met you and I got my first comic, because I've always been interested in comic books, but it was always from a video or movie, a TV show like aspect, you know what I'm saying? So to have like the physical copy, and I still got them right here. You know what I'm saying? Like OG,
Hey.
bro. Like signed, y'all, signed. So
See,
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy. Those are the variant covers. Like those aren't
Right.
even like the original covers. Those are the
Right.
variants. Crazy. That's crazy.
Right. So like you really, cause now I got probably like 3 long boxes now of just comics I've gotten over the year. And like your comics was the start of it, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So, for
Man.
this to come full circle is lit. You talked a little bit about Icarus Metro already,
Mhm.
and you know what you're doing, but you know, can we get a little bit more on the, you know, outside of the comic book itself? Like, what is it from, you know, an umbrella or like publishing standpoint? Do you plan on having like, you know, um, multiple writers and multiple things going on? So could you give us a little bit about that?
So, honestly, right now it's a self-made journey.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is it's just me. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I get help from my family, they like, putting their parts in certain things that they're good at. Um, but I do want to grow this into something where I can have multiple writers working on multiple different stories, when I can have multiple projects being pushed out there, when I can have like social media marketers working on different things and creating the content and getting it pushed out per each story. But I would definitely say that it's going to take time. It's going to take practice. I have to get people's eyes on the work, because although people know me for making stories and making content, and they know me at conventions, and I get the people coming by, social media is a vast hole of existence. You
Mm.
know, so it's just a matter of, okay, why should we buy a comic from Icarus Metro Comics over Marvel and DC, who have endless supply of content, a digital app where you can just pay $10 a month and get whatever book you want, instead of buying this indie book that could be seen as a little bit more expensive than a Marvel comic, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, the goal is to have a bunch of writers writing different stories for this universe, or maybe not even this universe, you know what I mean? Just writing a bunch of different stories. Um, but I know at first, like when even starting stuff like that, and even doing like live action, skits, YouTube content, a podcast, we plan on and we want to do a lot, but it's just a matter of like making sure that that happens little by little. And for anybody that's listening today, and you want to make comics and you want to write stories and stuff like that, definitely reach out, because we're willing to work with people to have new titles under an imprint. Um, work out, okay, what would you require, versus, what would you, like in terms of like pay structure and stuff like that, because, it's a startup, it's basically a startup, and
Mhm.
so it's just a matter of making sure that, that it's sustainable.
So you talked a little bit about the Kickstarter earlier and like how, you know, it's important to the process, but like I want this piece of content to also, you know, help, like you said, inform people on things. So like,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, why is Kickstarter such like a critical or crucial part to like publishing projects and like putting things out into the world for everybody to see?
That's a good question. I do want to start off by saying that Kickstarter is not a GoFundMe, and that is a big common misconception for why people don't back Kickstarters, because they believe that you're just funding a project, without any type of item back. It's like you're just giving towards somebody's creative passions or somebody's hobbies. Kickstarter is basically you're pre-ordering a product, right? And it's an all or nothing platform. So if a person doesn't reach their goal of getting, whatever goal they set, and of course you got to set realistic expectations versus how much you put in to produce the product versus how much it costs to actually ship out the product and create the product for consumers, right? Um, a lot of people, they may see some goals and be like, "Well, that's a little high," you know what I mean? Or they may see some prices like, "Well, that's a little high," but then you got to look at how much does it cost to make? What's the quality level? What's the art looking like? What's the what do you get with the product? Um, it's crucial to crowdfund, to pre-order and stuff like that, because one, with Kickstarter, you got a lot of people that are going to Kickstarter and they're backing project. You're building a mailing list, right? You're building a potential returning customers for new books. Second, you are basically recouping the costs of what you put in for the project. So it's like, for example, if you said hey, I want to have a birthday party, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to rent out this venue. I'm going to hire a DJ, but I'm going to charge $20 at the door
Right.
for people to come in and, enjoy this party, with the open bar and stuff.
Mhm.
That $20 at the door, your goal is to get 100, 150 people.
Mhm.
Your goal is to recoup the cost of that entire project, but still have enough for people to have a good time. So that's what a Kickstarter is. A Kickstarter is just for you to be able to receive the money back for the project, plus ship out all the rewards that people are getting for backing each specific tier.
Okay, so that makes sense. So like when it comes to the actual tiers, it's kind of reminding me of something like Patreon,
Yeah.
which is like, from my side of things, as far as like a YouTuber, Patreon is like a thing that, a lot of creators use. You know what I'm saying? So as far
Mhm.
as like when deciding what tiers are worth what, how do you go about that?
Well, I'm not greedy.
Okay.
you know, um, because I know, like, in some cases, it would make sense to make the tiers a little bit higher
Hmm.
just so you'll receive a little bit more money for the campaign. Um, but I know for myself, I want people to get the best bang for their buck, right? If you back, for example, a digital tier, it's not going to be that expensive, and you're not just going to get one book. You're going to get a couple books. You're going to get Icarus 1 or Icarus 2, depending on what it is. Um, you know, I give them like the actual cost, and then you get added on shipping, right, for each backing. So, I'm not going to charge a person, you know, $80 for a $40 shirt. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It might be 50, but I want to make sure that people are actually happy with the amount of stuff they're getting for the price. Because again, I'm trying to build a fan base. I'm trying to build people that are looking for Icarus Metro comics. Any comic that come under, whether or not it's Icarus Metro, Oni Hunter, or any future title. You know, and I want to build the trust of the people who are actually coming in and enjoying the titles. Because it's not an easy journey. Especially with
Right.
Kickstarter,
Hmm.
because like I said before, Kickstarter is all or nothing.
Hmm.
I could be promoting for 30 days straight and still not get, my backing. And I won't receive anything, and people won't receive anything. Then they have to wait for me to put it on my website, or maybe try to Kickstarter again. Who
Hmm.
knows? But I definitely want to say that Kickstarter is definitely a good way to help build. Kickstarter, Backer Kit, Indiegogo. It's definitely a good way to start if you want to put out a singular product. Now, I
Okay.
do see Patreon used a lot, but Patreon I've seen used a lot for like podcasts, maybe
Right.
artists and stuff like that.
So you talked a little bit about like community, right? And building a fan base and things like that. So like how important is it like to not only just cultivate a community for independent comic, but like what are some ways that you like to engage with them across like there's like socials or even in person at different events?
Well, I like to make sure that the options available for people to take pictures with me, with the book, with the creator in the book. Um, that if they want the book signed, they can have the book signed. It's not a problem. We haven't really done that much community outreach yet. I feel like we're still building to a point where we can do like a release party for a potential book or a book series and stuff like that. I definitely want to do that in the future, possibly in New Jersey.
Shout out Jersey.
Yeah, hey, shout out Jersey. You know what I mean? But definitely want to at least keep working to build that.
Mhm.
Um, because the next thing from here, from getting all these different titles is getting them in stores.
Right.
And the thing about getting in stores, I don't want them to sit on the shelves forever. I want people to actually go in and be like, oh, I want to get that. I want to get that. I want to get that. Or do you have the Oni Hunter? Do you have the Oni Hunter?
We talked a little bit about the business side of things. Let's get a little bit into the creative.
Okay.
For me, I I feel like I've always like had the idea or something, but when it came to writing it down, it never went nowhere. There's too many different things. So, you know, from a a writer's perspective, and just be able to put a story. I'm gonna say a storyteller. Because
Mm.
that's what you do. Uh, what are some ways you like to research or just like develop these new stories? Because there's a lot of stories that's already out there, and being unique and be able to draw people's attention is no easy feat.
So I think I'll be honest with you. Um, Outside of manga, because the only thing I really read right now is One Piece.
Okay.
Um, Outside of that, I honestly had to stop reading fantasy. I had to stop reading fantasy because I didn't want anything from another person's story to subliminally come into mind. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I admire art. I look up art. And I just, admire art on Instagram, Twitter, uh, Pinterest. I admire art a lot. And I look up different artists and I look at the new covers and stuff like that. Like even when I went to the comic book store and I got like the new Black Panther, I admire the art. I like to look at the art. You know, but in terms of the story, and that sounds crazy, but I just have not read any new story. I think the last even Marvel comic I've read, a DC comic, was like the last Guardians of the Galaxy run,
Okay.
and then the like maybe first 16 chapters of the Nightwing run.
Okay.
That's about it. You know, because I don't want anything to carry over. I think I was writing something one time, and then I had a line, and then I showed like some people to proofread it, and
Hmm.
they were like, "Hey, All Might said that," and I was like, "Whoa, whoa!" I was like, and I looked, and I was like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
like so I just, it's I definitely, yeah, I definitely stray away from that. But I feel like the start of actually getting the process together is solidifying on an idea and sticking with the idea, building the characters, outlining the characters. I like to design the characters first before I write the script.
Okay.
So I solidify on the idea first, and then I get the characters. I mock them up, and then
Hmm.
I have this one guy. He do the character designs,
Okay.
and once I have the character designs, then I put them in front of me. I print them out. I put them in front of me, and then I write the story. I got to look at the characters. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I can't just sit there and just.
Yeah.
I got so much going on in my life. I can't just sit there and just think of it. I got to look at them. I got to talk like them. You know what I mean? And write it out how I want it. And then from there, the outline forms, and then from there, the script forms, and from there, the editor takes it, gives it to the artist, and the artist draws it, and we do feedback until it's good, and then from there it's color and letter. It's very important that you get your everything proofread,
Right.
because you can write it a certain way, and of course, your writing is your writing.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like me personally, I had to find the right editor to work with. I'm gonna be
Right.
honest with you, because I remember I think I hired somebody to edit it or somebody to proofread it, and they were like, "Oh, that's not proper grammar," and I was just like, "But that's how they talk." You
Right.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I understand that you may have a character who's has proper grammar, then they talk with proper grammar. But if it's a character who does not talk with proper grammar, you do not write the character with proper grammar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to find a editor that understands that. You know what I mean? That
Hmm.
can go in and understand the characters. Um, so it's important because I'll tell you one thing. The thing that could really mess up your book is when you go to print it and you get your books in your hand and you do a read over your books,
Hmm.
or somebody tells you, "Hey, it's a typo."
Mm.
You need a proofread. You need a
Yeah.
proofread always.
Okay.
Because they take it from the script.
You talked about your artists, and you talked about like the process of getting character sheets and doing the designs and things like that. Do you have any like dream collabs with maybe even another writer or variant cover?
Honestly, I've been finding new people every day, and
Okay.
there are some people that I do want to work with that I haven't gotten a chance to work with. I've talked
Hmm.
with about rates,
Hmm.
but situations occurred where I couldn't pay that rate at the time, so I just kind of left the conversation in limbo. Um, but there are some people I definitely want to work with. I want to work with whoever wrote that Avengers 2012 run where Black Panther was the lead. Maybe writing a story for Icarus. It's this woman cover, and the artwork is just beautiful, right? And even the interiors of the book is beautiful. It reminds me of like Cyberpunk 2077. So
Okay.
I definitely like to work with them someday. But outside of that, can't really say that I have any dream role models for people to work with. I mean, I know I sure can't afford them, but
Yeah.
not yet. But I definitely want to, every year consistently build on the quality of Icarus Metro Comics and, produce better writing, produce better looking art, produce better stories, and making sure that it's consistently satisfying potential viewers.
With that being said, like, is there anything specific we can expect from Icarus Metro this year? Rest of the year, I guess.
Oh yeah. Right. Well, right now,
Let's
we have
talk
a
about
Kickstarter.
it. Let's get
We
it.
have a Kickstarter going on right now for Oni Hunter. So Oni Hunter is the newest book in Icarus Metro comics shelf. It's basically a story about a narcissistic basketball player who's contracted this deadly illness that, ideally has humbled him. Now he has to go kill these shape-shifting demons in order to take their life energy so he can live. So it's a story about, blood and gore. It's a story about, changing your life. It's a story about, fighting, demon hunting, adjusting to your circumstances. And there's also a little mixture of sports, So if you like Rurouni Kenshin, if you like Blade, if you like Demon Slayer, if you like Kuroko basketball, it's definitely a story for you. Because you will get a little bit of everything.
That's what's up. I'm definitely gonna have to check that joint out because I'm an OG hooper. You know what I'm saying? So don't ask me to play now. Don't ask me to play right now though.
Yes, we'll right now.
I laced my shoes up a long time ago. So I appreciate you for this interview, and we're gonna hopefully this helps with everything you got going on. You wanna let everybody know where they can find you at?
Yes, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok at Icarus Metro Comics. You can find us on Twitter at Icarus Metro. Find us on YouTube, Icarus Studios. And you can find us on our website, www.icarusmetrocomics.com. We are live on Kickstarter. Check us out on Kickstarter. We appreciate any type of support. You can get your shirt. You can get your basketball shorts. You can get your Scully cap. You can get yourself immortalized as an Oni within the issue 2. And you can get both covers of the book.
That's what's up. Well, that's going to do it for this interview. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button to subscribe. Want to see more videos like this, and we'll holler at y'all in the next one. Y'all be easy. You know the vibes. Always keep growing. See you going to be your boy G. I'm gone. Peace.
God bless.